Hi everyone, welcome to this new episode of Heart to Heart Talks. I'm Paulinha and I'm very happy to be here with you today. This show is like now very spontaneous and it feels wonderful to let the heart like guide us and tell us who has to be here with us. And today, my guest is in Mexico, and it feels wonderful to keep introducing you like some of Living Miracles community members. And so today I'm here with Marina, and she will open her heart with us and tell us some stories, and I'm very, very happy and grateful to receive her here. So, hi Marina.
Hi, Paulina. Thank you. Thank you for receiving me. It feels so wonderful and such a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you for being so available and open for these heart-to-heart talks. It feels wonderful to share your story with our Brazilian friends. Hmm. Yeah, as I told you, I don't actually have a script ready here. the the purpose here is just like open our hearts and really share from our hearts. And maybe I'd love to hear from you how this spiritual journey starts for you.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like my conscious spiritual journey started when I was in Australia. I'm from Argentina, but then when I was around 23, I decided to go on a work and travel to Australia. And then one thing led to another. I met someone, I started a relationship, I got a job. And then, I got a visa there to work. And I felt that all of the dreams that I ever had for myself were becoming seemingly a reality. Like I was living in Sydney in a beautiful apartment. I had this relationship that felt wonderful. I had a job, I could stay there. I was gonna get my passport. But as the years and years started going by, I felt like I achieved more goals and more goals that I had set up for myself. And I started feeling worse and worse and worse, and I couldn't understand why. And I remember thinking at the beginning of one year, I don't know when it was, like 4 years maybe, maybe 5 years ago, something like that. But I remember this year that I was saying to my ex-boyfriend, like, I really don't feel good and I don't feel like we're in a good place. And he said, I don't feel that either. And we thought, well, maybe we just need holidays. So we were like, yeah, let's plan a Euro trip, a month and a half in Europe. Like that will definitely, if we have any problems, then that will solve it. We'll go on a trip to Europe together. And then, we went to the trip and it was good. Like seemingly everything was good, the festivals in Europe and everything was good. But my heart was aching, like inside my heart was still aching. And I was like, how can this be? I'm in Europe, I am doing everything I wanted, I have everything I ever wanted, and yet my heart is aching. And then I started feeling like maybe I need to find myself. Like I felt like I couldn't love my partner because I felt so lost inside. But I couldn't bear say it or admit it. Like I couldn't find it in my heart to speak the words because I felt that if I spoke them, I would destroy him. And I felt all this guilt. Like, how could it be? I promised myself that I would love him forever. And yet, like, we were married, but in my heart, I had felt that, like, I would love you forever. And yet I was there having all these doubt thoughts, and I was not sharing them because I felt that he would be hurt, like my actions could actually hurt him. So we came back from the trip, but then I started feeling worse and worse and worse. And then I started going out every single day just because I went to work and I didn't want to face my emotions. At that time, I didn't know anything about spirituality or, going through the emotions to heal or anything like that. So I was just trying to distract myself. But then almost near Christmas, I just lapsed and and I started saying to him, like, I feel like I think we need to take a break and go our ways. And I felt so much guilt, and then I couldn't even face it. I started another relationship straight away. Like, I moved out, straight another relationship straight away, but I hadn't given even myself time to heal or process. I was just like, I couldn't face it for myself. And then that other relationship obviously reflect all of my pain, all of my guilt, and things become darker and darker and darker. And then one day I remember reaching a point where I got to my apartment and I just fell into my knees and I was crying my heart out. And I consciously prayed for the first time ever, I think, with such prayer. I was raised Catholic, but then, the school finished, and with that went everything. But that moment, I was like, if there is a God right now, I need you. Like, show me. I need to heal. I need you in my heart. And then that's when all of my life started transforming. And he brought into my life, I didn't even know, but a course appeared. And it was an online course about how to be extraordinary. It was all about manifesting. At that time, like, those are the symbols or things that I could relate with. But the first part of the course was about forgiveness, and it was going into meditation and then forgiving, like finding a person or any situation that had brought you pain and bringing it into your mind, and then letting up all of the thoughts and all of the emotions. So I did this exercise first with my first ex-boyfriend, then with my second ex-boyfriend, and then I did it on the third day. I did it with myself. And then after that, it was a miracle. It was a miracle in the mind. I didn't call it a miracle. I didn't know what was going on with me. I thought I was crazy, but all that pain, all that fog that I was in just lifted. It just lifted, and I became the happiest I have ever been. I felt my spirit for the first time, and I was just telling everyone meditation works. I didn't know what had done it. I was like, it's all about meditation, and I was just on the four winds telling everyone how wonderful meditation was and forgiveness. And my ex-boyfriend would look at me like, you're crazy, what's going on with you? I'm like, I don't know, but I feel so happy. And then the upcoming weeks, I was becoming happier and happier. But as I was becoming happier, I quit my job. I couldn't think straight. I was like, I couldn't think like I used to think. Something was taking over me, and I didn't know what was taking over me, but it felt so joyful. And then I quit my job, and I didn't know what I would do. And then I started praying without knowing was praying. I thought they were mental exercises. I was praying for intuition, because this course that I was doing said that the intuition can lead you further than analysis, that knows things that you rationally don't know. So I was praying for intuition and guidance with my life. And as I was praying for all of this, one day I went to a festival. And I was just listening to the music, letting myself be. I had not taken a sip of any alcohol because I was just already so joyful. Everyone thought I was so high. I was like, yeah, I am so high, but I'm high on, I don't know, meditation. Yes, love, like joy. And then I remember walking from the festival to my house that day, and I was ecstatic, and I felt so full. And I went to sleep feeling so joyful, like so fulfilled. And the following day, I see a message from my mother, and she had sent me something from Muji. that said like awaken from the dream, like your waking state is still a dream, awaken from it. And I was just listening to this and I didn't understand it, but I resonated with it. Then I went see my ex-boyfriend to help him pack some things, and then when we went there we had an argument, and then in that moment, like that high state started coming down, and I was like, oh no, what's happening, I need to forgive, I said I need time, I'm gonna go to my apartment. And then as I started walking out, everything started transforming on me. Like before I had this beautiful sky, beautiful day, the dreamer of the dream, I didn't know what was going on, but everything felt sparkly, like I was seeing it for the first time. Then I had this argument, and then like everything started transforming so fast. Like clouds started coming in, a bird attacked my eye, I was trying to cross the street and people were like beeping, like get out, and I was like, oh my god, it feels like a dream. Like I was so happy one moment before and everything was sparkling, and now I'm upset and everything is becoming a mental storm. I got to my house and then I was like, it's all mental, like I am making this all in my mind. And I was like, everything's happening right now, and I don't know, I got into this state in my mind, and then the whole world disappeared, and I felt this big force in my heart and unity with God. There was nothing but that. I knew exactly what it was, who I was. Yeah, I can't describe it, but like that was reality. But in that recognition of reality, nothing else was real, nothing else was real. And then a thought came to my mind, if this is everything there is, what happens to my body, what happened to my family, what, like, and how do I live, like, or like I was, and then whoosh, like I perceived the whole world again. And then my chest, I had such deep pain in my chest, and I fell down crying. I was like, God is real, but it's not how I thought it was. It was not how it was explained to me. Like, I don't know what just happened. And I was sobbing. Like my whole idea of what was real and true and what life was about and who I was and how to live my life, it was always so oriented with goals. And then, but I saw the meaninglessness of it and how it took me away from the present moment. But I didn't know, it's like, if I don't have goals, then how do I live? How do one live in this life? How does one become joyful? Where do you find joy? And if I'm not my body, but I'm perceiving me in my body, then what do I do with it? I didn't know about A Course in Miracles or anything at that moment. So I was just so confused.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like
It alone too, because you were like having this experience. It was like a revelatory experience, right? And like, oh my god, you're so brave.
Yeah, at that time I didn't see myself brave. I saw myself like I just lost my mind or something. I didn't know. I thought it was crazy. But I called my ex-boyfriend at that time. I was just crying, and he came, and I was trying to explain to him. But he was like, Marina, I don't know what's going on with you. I'm scared for you. Why are you crying like this? Like you know. But he said, maybe we just can lay in bed and I can hold you. And I was like, yes, and please. And then we just hold, and I just cried. And then when it seemed to cease, he said, okay, this is too painful to see you like this. I'm just gonna go to my house. And I was like, okay. Like I felt more stable. And then it was like 3 a.m. I tried to ring my mother, and like she was like, Marina, is everything okay? It's 3 a.m. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's just like God is real. The whole world just disappeared and God is real. And my mom is like, are you okay? Like, what's going on with you? If like God is real and love, then why are you crying? And I'm like, but you didn't understand, the whole world disappeared. And then she sends me, she's like, I am reading this book. I'm like, oh, my mom, like I always thought she was crazy. She was hippie. She did all this meditation. And I always thought, but I was like, oh, my mom and her books. So she just sends me the disappearance of the universe. And but I was like, okay, thank you, mom, thank you. But I kind of left it on the side for a while. But then I opened, like I woke up the following day and I felt that like as if I was not here, like as if I was in a simulation. Like I felt like everything was a simulation. I was seeing myself from afar, and I was looking at myself in the mirror and I didn't recognize myself. It's like, is that me? Like who is that? And like I would move my body, like if I move my body, does it move?
What
like
is this? I had the same. I was like, what is this? Like hands? What are you doing with this right now?
Yeah. And then I was like, who is making the decision to move the body? I was like, who is deciding these things? And then I was like, oh, maybe a meditation teacher would tell me about these things. So I went to a transcendental meditation teacher, but I was still crying, and he was like, I learned transcendental meditation, but then we would have these deep talks. But then I was trying to explain my experience to him, but I saw that he'd never had that experience. So like he couldn't even understand me. And I was like, where are the answers, Jesus? I didn't call him Jesus. I was like, where's the answer? And then the book, The Disappearance of the Universe, I was like, I need to read that book. And then I absorbed that book. I read it in 1 or 2 days. I read the whole thing, and I knew, like, it was not something to believe in. I knew, like, my heart knew I had an experience, and that book explained exactly what had happened to me, how it was all about forgiveness, and God is real, this world is an illusion, and it's about being guided. And it obviously talks about A Course in Miracles. And that's when The Course in Miracles landed in my lap. And that was the beginning.
You begin with in the end, like, okay, let's go, we want to do this, let's go to the end of the world.
Yes, it was so direct and so intense. And it was, I felt like I had such deep prayer, like that, this deep prayer for knowing more, and I didn't realize how deep it was. But in that moment my whole life collapsed, and I let it, because I couldn't do anything about it, because I couldn't think like I used to think. Like something in my mind had just dropped. I couldn't think anymore. I couldn't work. And like rent was so expensive in Sydney. I wasn't working. And then I was like, okay, I just wanna, I felt like I just needed to relax, and just needed to enjoy and feel the spirit. I didn't know these words then, but I just needed to feel myself and allow myself everything to be. And so then in that prayer I heard a little voice in my head. That was the first time I heard something that I think is like such audible mental voice. It was the only time, because it was very loud in my mind, and it said, go home, go home, go home. And I was like, this is crazy. I'm not going to go home. I don't know what's going on with me. But I'm in Australia. Like, I worked so much for this, all these years, all this work, everything I built. It took me years to build that life here and get my citizenship, everything I had, worked for. And now you're telling me to let it all go and drop and go with almost 30 years old to my parents' house in Argentina. It was like having to face like failure, like I thought I was a failure, that I had failed, and my self-judgment, and my pride, like everything had to crumble down. But I tried to negotiate it with a voice.
maybe I'll just a visit, and then I'll be back to my normal life, right?
Yes. Well, first I said, I'm just not gonna listen to you, but if you come back after the weekend, maybe okay. Maybe I know I haven't lost my mind, or I don't know. So then I was like, okay. So the weekend passed, and then these boys came back again, and then I just saw myself grabbing the computer, and then like I was looking to flights. I was like, I can't believe I'm like watching myself look for flights, and I'm like, when am I supposed to leave? Like I don't even know, like what am I doing, like what's happening? And then I was like, okay, it's happening. So I was like, when? And I felt, okay, maybe if I'm gonna rent this, I wasn't ready to let it all go. So I was like, okay, maybe I just need to pack my things and then enjoy a little bit of my time here. I still have savings. Maybe, okay, in 1 month's time, I'll go home. And then, yeah, I that time the time came at the beginning of February, and I just left everything there, all rented. And then I went to Argentina to my parents' house, and that was just what I needed without knowing that it was just what I needed. But I got there and I felt that I could allow myself to just be without having to worry about anything else. And I just had a room there, and I cried and I cried and I cried for a whole straight month. I didn't see anyone except my sister, my mom, and my dad. No one even knew I was in Argentina. And I never left the house, not once. I just cried. I couldn't watch anything online, like not even movies, like nothing. Like I just cried and read, and then I started reading books, like the life of the Yogananda, and like my mom had all of these saints and mystics books, and I just read and cried. That was a whole month. And then I was like, I don't know how I will leave, or how I will get out of here, or like what's going to happen with my life. But then it also became a very healing time, also about myself, but with my family too, because I had to let them know that I didn't want to work how I used to work or live in Australia anymore, that all I wanted was God. And then my father was the reflection of all my doubt, like, but why all that? Yeah, studies and everything you ever achieved, and you're gonna end up in the street homeless, and what are you gonna do? And then all these thoughts of failure and pride, and I don't know what self-doubt. I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what my life is gonna be like. Maybe like I will be in the street, like I don't know, like I don't know how to live like this. So yeah, but that became really healing, because it really got us to a place with my family that we could speak heart to heart, like really what's truly there. And I said what I had to say, my father said what he had to say, my mother said what she had to say. And then there was one point that I remember, that I said to my dad, like, this is my passion. This is what brings me joy. God is what brings me joy. It's my passion, and I want to make it my life. And then I said to him, you told me once that you couldn't live out of your passions, that those were hobbies, but you had to be reasonable and provide for yourself. But I want to live from what my passion is, and I want to make that for me. And then my dad like in that moment he realized, his father used to say that to him. He wanted to be a pilot, but his father told him not to, and then he became a lawyer. And then in that moment of recognition, he was like, I am so sorry. I never realized. Like, I want you to be happy. Yes, follow your heart. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like I can't believe this miracle of them in my mind, this transformation, like allowing everything up and then seeing the transformation in my own mind.
Wow.
Yes.
And you were like doing this forgiveness work and letting him reflecting you back all the dots and really facing, and then like the miracle, like watching him watching this reflection, like be healed and reflecting like the support and the healing. So beautiful. Yeah.
I feel like allowing myself to feel whatever is it that I'm feeling has been the biggest gift, because part of my mind was like, this is not good, you're crying all the time, things are getting worse, you need to get a grip. But then I was like, I can't, so I'm just gonna feel whatever I feel, and I'm just gonna speak from my heart. And then I just need to trust, because I don't feel like I can do anything else. But in that, everything started transforming, and it still is. I feel like that hasn't changed.
Oh my God, yeah. Thank you for sharing this. I feel that it's like a gift for all of us. Like maybe there are like some friends that are facing like the same, like maybe having this revelatory experience too, or mystical experiences, and like doubting themselves, and really because all of that is like the ego backlash, right? Because I had the same very soon, like this revelatory experience, and like all this light that we can't tell and we can't explain. And I saw the ego reflecting back and like bringing all these doubts, these fears. And so important this that you share, like for us to really allow ourselves to feel and trust that the healing is that it's there. I love that part in the Course that Jesus says it doesn't make sense for the ego that and more you look at the fear, the less we'll see it. Like, and it really doesn't make sense, but yeah, it is beautiful.
Yeah, it's such a journey of trust, trust and faith. And when I feel like when we have these guidances come in, then the ego will try to kick and resist and even doubt the guidance. But I feel there's a deeper part I started doubting, like, did that ever happen, or I made it up in my mind? Like, maybe I made it up. I was like, oh my god, the ego. And then that I think that is why it also is so important to have mighty companions, like
Yes.
people to walk along with, to reflect the truth, like to remind you, no, that was real, that it was more real than anything else, just keep going, I'm with you, so I feel like that's the gift we give to each other.
Yeah, and maybe you can tell us like how this unfolds for you to find these mighty companions and really um, commit yourself to live this this completely new life, like after this, like everything really changed. And how was it?
Well, I remember that while I was still in Argentina in my parents' house, I didn't know how long I would be there for, but one day I was meditating and I felt all this light in my mind, and I heard courses. And I was like, courses? And there was like online courses. And then I came out of the meditation and I was like, great, I think I know what I need to do. I need to do online courses, and I need to do it now. And I need to share all that I know without knowing that I was just at the beginning. So I was like, I'm gonna do it. And then I started, like, I took it personally to try to build a course to heal others. I don't know, the ego got in there and tried to do like I studied business, so all of my and media and marketing, so all of my past came rushing in. And then I started feeling horrible, like I lost myself. I felt horrible and horrible, like what? And then I got to the point, like, what am I doing this for? Like, who am I doing this for? Like, why? If I know that this is not real, what am I doing? And then I was like, okay, I need, like, again, down on my knees, praying, okay, Jesus, this time I feel like I tried it. I feel like I had to play it out. and it doesn't work. I went back, I was praying, I started reading the course like almost 8 hours a day, all of the text, and I was praying, show me how to live. I don't know how to live in this. You talk about the love of God is my sustento. Well, I'm sustained by the love of God,
Yeah,
and
same.
I'm not governed by any law but God's. And then I was like, I believe this, but how? But I perceive myself in a body. How do I live? I need practical examples. And because every reflection that I had was also, you be a teacher of A Course in Miracles, but you gain money, you work in the world, I don't know, like still very world oriented, all of the reflections I was having in the moment. But I was like, I feel like I need to transcend all of that. So how do I do this? And then searching online, I saw that there was an online retreat about from Living Miracles community, and that was on the weekend. My parents happened to go out for the weekend. I was alone in the house. I joined the online retreat.
Perfect.
And I was supposed to meet a friend, and then it started storm, like a big storm came, and I couldn't leave my house. I was like, okay, I don't know who these people are, but I have nothing better to do on the weekend. So I'm just gonna join the online retreat. So yeah, without knowing, I was so guided by that. I didn't even know. I was like, should I go or not? Well, I'll just try it out. And I
I'll give it a chance.
I'll give it a chance, see what can happen. I'm here alone on a weekend and I have nothing better to do. So yeah, I went to the online retreat and it was so profound. All of these deep presence started whooshing over me, and all of the retreat was a deep meditation for me. And David was speaking on Saturday, and he's mentioned my name, so it caught my attention. And he said something like, you are bilingual, you're like a golden fish, someone catch that fish. And then and as I was praying, what should I do with my life, God? I need a sign. And then the following day, Kirsten says, Marina, on Friday we have a retreat at our center in La Casa de Milagres. Why don't you come here? And I was like, okay. So the retreat finishes on Sunday, and then I complete the form. And then on Monday, they called me, and it was Pete, and he says, do you want to come for the retreat? I'm sure. And then by Wednesday, I had already booked the ticket and I was already here in Mexico. And my parents were like, what? On Tuesday, my parents come back from their trip in the countryside. And I'm like, I'm leaving tomorrow to Mexico. They were like, what? You're leaving tomorrow? I'm like, yes, I'm leaving tomorrow. Where are you going? I don't know, but I just really know I need to do this. It's so obvious. And then they were like, okay, like I'm just going for a month. I thought it was just going to be a month, but it was like very fast. Like now, it wasn't something like, should I do this or not? Like the guidance came and it was like right now. And I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. I didn't, at the beginning, I thought, oh, I'm going to participate in a retreat. And it wasn't like that. It was like to be of support for the retreat. And then, yeah, I got there. I was like, I didn't know what was happening, but I felt, yeah, it was a walk of trust. But I felt like, yeah, that's how Jesus got me into living in community, which is also something I never thought that I would do. And I also only felt I was going to be here for a month, but then the Spirit took over my spirit. Like the Spirit took over my seeming body and my mind. And then, yeah, it continued from there.
It's beautiful. Yeah, and just shows like that he has a plan for all of us. Like, and we don't need to worry. Like, he definitely like takes care of everything to put us exactly what we are meant to be, like for the whole. So beautiful. We don't need to, because I feel that for me, I worried about a lot about like, what should I do? Am I in the right place? Like, what is this? And it's just this, like, just trust and really be open for like to be shown like what is. And it's so like as you said, so gentle, and at the same time, like so fast. Like that's it. Just
like no delay, but nothing would be given that would increase my fear level. So it's like, okay, as soon as you're ready, then I'll take you to the next step and the next step. And yeah, I feel it becomes very obvious. Even when I was at my parents' house, I was like thinking, am I in the right place? No, I'm not getting guidance. Why am I not getting guidance? Like, when are you gonna give me guidance? Like, months started going by and by, and it's like, should I maybe go to India? You know, but it's like, but I wanna continue and deepen with the Course in Miracles. So like all of the, but then it was when the time was right. Then Jesus was there, like, this is the step. This is the step. Now take it. I was like, oh, it's obvious. Like there wasn't, you know, yeah, there wasn't a doubt. Like I knew, my heart knew what the next step was.
beautiful. Yeah. And how was it for you? Like, because after that you started translating David to Spanish, and I think I was there in the first retreat in Mexico that you actually translated him, and we had this heart-to-heart talk there, and you shared this revelatory experience, and you share how deep was for you, because I think it's important to share that too, because some people may I don't know, imagine that, like, oh, okay, now you find the path and everything will be perfect and just joyful, and you hear your laugh, it's like, oh, she's so joyful. It is, but there is like a deep work behind it, and I feel that it's, I don't know if you feel to share a little bit.
Yeah, I think that, in the, we pray, we listen, and then the very important component is we follow. But in that following is that the ego is being undone. And yeah, to the ego, sometimes it feels really hard, like, yeah, because it doesn't want to, it kicks and screams. So I feel like there is a lot of washing that is happening, but there is a lot of joy that comes with it too. But I do remember, yes, when I got here, and then I started, they asked if I could translate verbally, and I was like, I'll try. I don't even know if I can. But then I started translating, and then I realized, like, oh my God, like I can do this. Like it's a gift. It's a gift that I didn't even know that I had or that I could do, but I find so much joy in doing it. And I also had in my heart, I had been so blessed to have received all of these teachings from David in English on how to practically live. And I was like, in my heart, it was like, I need to share this. How can I share this? And I was like, yes, I can translate to Spanish and I can share it all, in Spanish, so that everyone that feels this calling or is searching like I was searching can find the answer faster. Like we can do it faster for each other. And then then that I had that in my heart, and I started doing it. And then there was an physical online retreat, and there were two, I think, one, but that one was in January. And I was translating David every single day in the morning and every single movie at night. And then at the end of it, I got like physically sick. I was throwing up, and I was like, oh wow, that's so much light coming in. But not only that, like I felt like I needed all that light coming in, but I was also so afraid because I knew what my next step was. And my next step was to go to Australia and actually sell and give away everything and then come back. And I was like, oh, I even tried to like plan, okay, maybe I'll go to Argentina and then Australia, or Australia, then Argentina, maybe spend some time there and then come back. And I was like, I was trying to get the tickets, and I couldn't get, like, my heart couldn't get a ticket for longer than 2 weeks. And then straight to Australia and back. And I was like, are you kidding me? I meant to go and do my whole life in 2 weeks and come back straight away. And I booked my ticket to go there, but I didn't want to get my ticket back. But then I felt like it's becoming so unstable. I need to get the ticket back. But then, yeah, like having that, I knew that would happen. And I was just afraid, after that retreat and translating and listening to the truth. But then the guidance comes and it's like, okay, I prayed, I heard it, and now I have to go and actually do it. And then I went to Australia, and I packed and gifted or sold everything in actually 1 week. But it was so like, I think like I had to go and get it done, but I cried. Like I cried and cried like nonstop. Like all like the ego would tell me all that work that you put into this, all those years, all that sacrifice, like everything to get this, and now you're giving it all away. What for? Like you don't even know that you're gonna go and you're gonna suffer. You're not gonna be happy again. You're just letting go of all of your dreams for nothing. And I was like, oh my god, like it was very loud. Like especially that time, the voice of the ego was very loud. But David said to someone, a friend of ours that was in Australia, call Marina. She might need you. And then in one of those days that I was just packing everything, I was just crying, and he calls me, and I was like, thank God. And then I cried and cried and cried, and then he was just there to listen and to be a reflection of truth, of remembering why am I doing this for. So then I had that 1 week, and then I had another week, and then that week my ex-boyfriend said, like, reach out to me, oh, you're here, and I saw it on Facebook, like, what are you meant to, until when are you here, what are you meant to do? I explained, what are you doing next week? And I was like, I don't know. And he said, well, I have a girlfriend, but if you want to, you can stay with us. And I was like, okay.
Wow. Fast track forgiveness.
Yes. So then the second week became, I was so grateful to him and to the girlfriend that he was with, to be so open-minded, to allow me in their house, and I actually, like, he was moving too, and that was the house that we used to live in. So I actually then helped him pack his house, our house, ex-house, and then go through all of this healing and letting go and forgiveness together, and then just spend some time, walking and going out, enjoying meals together. So it was like, oh, that second week was all about letting go of and forgiving that relationship, the guilt and everything that was there, like of all of the things I felt, I did wrong, or but seeing him with her and seeing him, he's good, and then letting go of the past. And yes, I got onto a plane, I made it to LA, and I was like, maybe I can stay in LA.
Ego is still trying.
Trying to resist, like, I'm still not very sure about this. But yeah, I join again, like on those moments of doubt. Like, I feel it's so important to join with someone that reflects the truth to us, to like remind us what are we doing this for. And then I called David, and then he was like, maybe you can just go to a house nearby. But then I was like, oh my god, I just let all of my life go. Like, no, I'm going straight. Like, he just said the opposite, just so that I could say, like, I want to go deep, and like, I'm gonna go all in. And then I came here, and then it kept going. But I feel like I felt it's so guided for me to be here. I don't feel like there is a special place or special people, but yes, it is like, for me, the essential part is like pray, listen, and follow, and then just say yes and take the practical steps to whatever is being placed in front of us. And so for now, I'm still here.
Beautiful. And it's so beautiful, like this full yes, because this trip back to Australia was so symbolic, like to wrap up everything. And like the symbol was like this big yes, this full yes to God, and not really let. I love that part in the course, that the promise that he said, don't let we're not gonna let any stone behind for you to follow. So it's so beautiful, like, and so inspiring to hear it, like, because we really need to do this sometime. Like to really give this full yes to God, and and it's beautiful
Yeah,
that
and
He's showing us the way.
yeah. And as you said, like, like it's just also opening ourselves up to that promise. I always think, well, he promises that, but if we don't actually trust, then we won't experience the truth of it. And then, as in my experience, as I like these big moments of leaps of faith have come in, I had jumped and I felt always that I was held. Like I felt like every time like I was guided to do something, there was no stone to trip on, like nothing to worry about. The path was cleared with whatever is it that I needed. And then even like not like, and how safe I was, like Jesus, like, oh, he said 2 weeks I got to I got to Mexico, the whole pandemic break out. I was like, oh my God. And I was like in this beautiful like safe place for me to heal my mind and to give my life to the whole. And but there was so much joy in that. But I also feel like everything has been given me, like everything that I need is provided for. I needed money came in. I needed a place to stay comes in. I need time, space, like I lived with many people all the time. And then and I gave myself so fully to share everything in Spanish for a whole year, all the pandemic. And then I felt like rest. I needed to rest. And then a space was given for me to rest and commune with God and have this mystical time of love. And then, like, and then I was like, okay, I feel really activated now. I feel like I need people. Okay. Like everything that my heart needs is being given. And anything that physically I seem to need is being given to me, but it's not through my own personal effort. Like I don't, I don't receive a salary. I don't receive money, like not that way. Like things get given to me, either physical or if I need money gets given to me. And then you feel so loved, like so loved by God, so loved by Jesus, like, oh, I didn't have to do anything and all of this is coming to me. I say, oh, wow, I'm so loved. Thank you so much. I didn't even know that one can live like this, that you can, heal and like share, what really like the truth and everything is provided for is such a miraculous life.
Yes, yes. Yeah, you just answered the question I had, because I was about to ask you, like, how do you really found this joy? Because we can feel in your presence like this joy that radiates from this, like, very deep from your heart. And I think it's this, like, really following the steps that will be giving you. And as you said, like, really trusting the promise, and accepting the gifts, the miracles and the gifts. Like, okay, I need to rest, so this place, it's be giving me, like, thank you, okay, and this and this. But maybe you can talk a little bit more, like, in your daily basics, like how you keep this joy, and you keep like, how do you live?
Yes, I think the difference in my day is the purpose. Like, because in physical, like what seems to be what I'm doing, it feels very normal. Like it could seem very normal to the eyes. I can wake up and I'm in my computer, I'm in calls all the time, or I'm working on projects, working on courses. I like that, yeah, like everything informs seems very, or I'm cooking, or I'm, but I feel that it is in the purpose that everything, like, it lifts up my heart, like it takes me to the joys of heaven, like knowing that I feel God is calling and I'm saying yes to God, and in that yes, it's like yes, but generally it could be a big yes, like yes to God, but also it could be very simple, like saying yes to the person that is in front of you, giving your full attention, say yes to the project that is being given you from the Spirit. So every little thing that comes my way and I say yes, like really is for me saying yes to God, and that is what keeps me so happy. And then when I try to doubt that, like analyze it, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, like like call this person or do this, and it's like yes, oh, I'm not so sure about that one. Then in that moment I can see like my mind starts spiraling down, and then it's like, oh, I'm resisting a prompt, I'm resisting guidance, and like then I don't feel good. And but then the feeling is my barometer. Like if I feel great, wonderful, I'm following the Spirit, everything's flowing. And then if I start feeling not good, then I stop. I feel like that is really like being very attentive and very sensitive to what my feelings are. And if I don't feel good, then I allow it. I really allow myself to feel, or join with a mighty companion, or whatever is like whatever I feel in the moment, just to allow it up and find the purpose again. And sometimes it's, yeah, you have to let go. I think it's such a humble journey, like because you have to let go of pride, like because your guidance is for the whole, and there is no personal, like personal is constantly being undone. And it's like, yeah, there is nothing for Marina to gain personally, like more and more is a let go, but like everything I do is for the whole. And like, and sometimes it doesn't even, or if like give to this person so that they can fly. And it's like, but what, Digo is like, what do I gain? Nothing. Like nothing in form. But then the Spirit is like, you gain everything, because in the just sharing or just joining with the other, I feel so full. And then it's like, okay, this is like so disinterested, like it's just like giving without any personal gain, but it actually gains absolutely everything. But yeah, I feel like in that giving every the communication the Spirit is asking me to give, in the giving in a project the Spirit is asking me, or saying yes to our relationship and giving my love to, or my attention or my presence to that relationships, like in giving everything and saying yes to everything that is being given. That is where I find the Spirit, I find the joy, I find the love in giving, is that I receive. Yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Yeah, and it's exactly what I feel. You're inspiring, because you're such a big yes, Marina. Yes, let's go. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Marina. It's a gift hearing you and watching you and really sharing this purpose with you. So it's so inspiring. Yeah. And I don't know if you feel to share anything else from your heart with your friends before we end today. Yeah, feel free if you have any message or anything that like is inspiring you.
Well, actually, what's really inspiring to me right now, it seems to be a project, but actually it's not really a project. It's the courses. Yeah, that's the funny thing, that the courses 3 years later, the courses came back into my life. Yeah, and Jesus is like, yeah, now. But it's like I didn't even have to figure out the course. They did some courses in English, and I was like, I can try, like have them translate in Spanish, and I organized it all and like work with volunteers, and then it becomes about this big collaboration and communication. I feel like my joy is in communication and collaborations. It's not so much in actually getting the steps done, which was before. Like actually there was a time where I actually really enjoy putting my time into posts and things, but now like it's like I feel like to communicate and to collaborate. I'm always on calls, and I'm like working on the course, and I'm like, oh my God, Jesus, you play. Like I just needed to wait to the right time. Like the guy, like sometimes big downloads come in, but that doesn't mean that the downloads are for that right, like a specific moment. It could be, or it could be like just a premonition of something that's to come. And yeah, so like he has been using this to really allow me to deepen. I feel like every step that we take really expands our heart and expands our mind, and we're always going deeper into that presence of love. Whether we like if we said yes, then he's got us, and then the ego is like, but are you like, you're going backwards, like this is like, no, you're not going forward. And it's like, you don't, like Jesus, like you don't know your can distinguish your advances from your retreats. Just trust, you are deepening. And yeah, I feel like doing something that serves everyone, like I'm seeing that I'm not separate from anyone else. Like that is what really is really in my heart right now and really inspires me.
Yeah, so beautiful. And I'm glad that we are sharing the same inspiration again. Yeah, it's beautiful. Okay, thank you so much, Marina. It was really beautiful talking to you. And I don't know if you want to share with our friends here your social media so they can find you and maybe share more miracles with you. And yeah, we're gonna let the links here below.
Yeah, well, my Instagram is Marine Colombo. So without the A of Marina, Marine Colombo. And then there's my Instagram. And then everything else and everything I do with Living Miracles is also all there.
Perfect. We're gonna let the link here. And okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really enjoy having this heart to heart with you. And yeah, I love collaborating with you and joining with you. It's always such a pleasure. So thank you so much, Paulina.
Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us here. Bye.